Okay, in the wake of the federal election result, politicians on all sides are turning their heads towards Queensland. Well, at least those who read the results properly are. Some are thinking it's many other reasons why Labor lost rather than reasons why the coalition won. Now, there are a lot of lessons out of Queensland, and it's not just Adani. Adani is a big issue, but I think it's a hell of a lot more than that. Now, joining me now is Senator Amanda Stoker. She's a Queenslander, Liberal Senator or LNP Senator for the great state of Queensland. You've looked at these issues. You've been around campaigning, Senator. You were on the ground all the way through the campaign. You were telling me that you were really getting a look in seats that were working people inside the outer suburbs of Brisbane, places that traditionally had not necessarily gone your way with a strong Labor leader that resonated in Queensland. Clearly didn't have that this time, or they didn't have that this time with Bill Shorten. What were the messages you think Queensland took out of the election?
Look, I think Queenslanders liked what the coalition had to offer when it came to economic stability and continued growth, an investment in infrastructure that was going to see them have an improved quality of life by getting to work or to their job site sooner and home again as well. But they also, I think, really noticed and plainly rejected the deeply socialist politics of envy and redistribution that was on offer for the Labor Party. And that gives me great encouragement because it speaks to, I guess, the hearts and minds of the people who I was speaking with every day in the suburbs of out of Brisbane.
Okay, you focused a little bit then on the economic agenda, and that's absolutely fair. That's right around the country. But you've always been strong speaking out against Labor's social agenda as well, Senator. You've spoken out about, gender on birth certificates, for example, standards in schools. You've been really hard on Labor for this move to the hard left. How much do you think that was a factor in the result?
I think it was huge. Now, it's not something people feel comfortable talking about, and so I guess it often operated as a bit of a sleeper issue. Mm-hmm. But things like religious freedom, things about Labor's desire to radically reshape our culture in a way that provides moral judgement for anybody who doesn't want to sign up in full to the hard left's gender fluidity and radical agenda on confining free speech and so forth. All of that, I think, was something that ordinary Australians felt very uncomfortable with and saw it as a direct attack on many aspects of their way of life. And I think we can take some great heart from that about the fact that it means Middle Australia's culture has not wildly changed in the last decade. The fundamentals of what Australians believe remains much the same. And that should, I think, give the government great courage in speaking up on social issues and in following through and delivering in full all that it promised on religious freedom.
What do you make of the reaction from the left, looking for the silver bullet that meant Labor went under the bus on Saturday night, rather than perhaps acknowledging, as the Prime Minister did, I guess, the weight of the vote from the quiet Australian?
I think this is going to be something very difficult for those who are really committed to the agenda of the left to cope with, and it might take them some time. But the fact that the reaction that has come from the left is this intense and vitriolic moral judgment. You know, we had a journalist from the Sydney Morning Herald calling everybody morons, Jane Caro calling people who voted for the Morrison government turds. I mean, they're calling us myopic or stupid, self-serving and planet-hating. They cannot comprehend the idea that people who care deeply about others, including their own family, might have seen danger and, something they didn't want in what Shorten had to offer. There is an awfully positive agenda provided by the Morrison government here, and it's about the ability to get ahead, the ability to get great jobs, to plan for your future, to get a house, to pay it off, to save for your retirement and then enjoy it on the terms on which you saved. This stuff goes to fairness, but it also goes to ordinary Australians' desire to provide for those they love and contribute to their community. And for the left to be so harshly and morally judging people who mightn't have voted the way they did, I think says something about how far they've got to go in the reflection stakes.
OK, Senator Stoker, you know, that is a very eloquent exposition of all the reasons and then some of why the left got them into trouble on the weekend. I hope the Prime Minister is watching. I hope you get a call in a couple of days to say he needs you on his front bench. I know a lot of people who watch this show would support that wholeheartedly. Thanks very much for your time tonight.
Thanks, Peter.